A woman who cheats always leaves. These signs. 18-minute rescriptor version. Smoke in the room. Let's cut the fantasy right now. Cheating doesn't hit like a thunderclap. It seeps in like smoke beneath a door. One moment the air is clear, the next your coughing eyes stinging, asking, when did this place start burning? A woman who steps outside the lines rarely announces it with neon lights. Instead, her clues float in the half-light, a distracted laugh, a phone that flips face down, an apology that lands too quickly, like someone rehearsed it in the car. If you've ever walked into a room that smells faintly of something burnt, you know the instinct, your head snaps up, nostrils flare, pupils widen. Survival wiring. Your body screams, find the fire. Yet, when it comes to love, we often silence that alarm. We open a window, tell ourselves the haze is just cooking. We spray lavender and call it loyalty. The Stoics warned us 2,000 years ago. We suffer more in imagination than in reality, but they also added a footnote. Modern relationships keep ignoring. Denial turns imagination into reality. The longer you pretend the smoke is harmless, the hotter the flames become. Tonight we're taking the batteries out of denial. Well, walk the perimeter, feel every wall for heat, and map every crack where dishonesty slips through. Because, spoiler alert, every affair, no matter how carefully hidden, leaves a trail you can trace if you dare to see it. And once you see, you can choose. Choose confrontation over confusion boundaries, over breadcrumbs, clarity over comfort. Cheating may be silent, but insight is loud. Ready. Let's flick on the floodlights. Reality, check numbers that don't lie, even when people do. Before we chase clues, let's ground ourselves in facts, not folklore. A 2024 meta-analysis of US relationship surveys found that roughly 19% of married women admit to at least one physical affair, up from 13% a decade ago. Emotional infidelity climbs even higher. A YouGov 2023 poll showed 58% of women have experienced or committed an emotional affair they didn't consider cheating, while their partners definitely did. Workplace proximity plays its predictable role. Nearly 1/3 of affairs begin with a colleague, a statistic that has held steady since 2020. Why mention the hard numbers? Because smoke detectors work on thresholds. At a certain particle density, they flash red and screech. Your instincts need thresholds to data-driven benchmarks that slice through the haze of it's probably nothing. When you know that 1 in 5 committed women eventually crosses the line, a sudden surge in late-night project meetings doesn't feel like paranoia. It feels like pattern recognition. But here's the twist the headlines miss. Most women who stray aren't hunting variety, they're hunting validation. Researchers at the American Survey Center reported that power and unmet emotional needs trump physical curiosity by a wide margin. Translation: if she starts radiating a brand new independence, posting cryptic self-love quotes, and rejecting the very support she begged for last month, that's not random growth, it may be smoke from a different fire. So as we dive into the 7 tells, remember 2 guardrails. 1. Context magnifies clues. 1 sign in isolation can be innocent. 3 in sequence form a signal. 2. Clarity beats confrontation. Your goal is not to play detective forever. It's to confirm reality quickly so you can act, whether that means repair or release. Take a breath. Smell the air. Do you sense a hint of something burning good? Keep that radar active as we step into sign 1-1, the polite disconnect. Sign 1-1, the polite disconnect. She hasn't packed a suitcase, she hasn't missed a dinner date, and yet you can feel her receding like low tide. The laughter that once bubbled out of her now lands soft and flat, the kind of smile you give a stranger in an elevator. She still texts "good morning," but her eyes never leave the screen, and every "I love you" sounds pre-recorded. The Stoics would call this a rupture of presence. The body remains, the spirit wanders. Watch for the micro shifts. When you crack a joke, does her face light up or simply acknowledge receipt? Does she answer questions with curiosity or with the efficiency of a customer service bot? Disconnect that keeps smiling. Drip, drip, drip of detachment you can feel before you can prove it. Do not argue with the surface. Measure the depth. If her attention has to be summoned instead of shared, the smoke alarm just chirped. Silence the excuses in your head and note the pattern. She's here, but she's no longer with you. Sign to selective silence. Cheating rarely begins with a lie. It begins with an edit. One detail disappears, then a whole paragraph until the novel of her life becomes a pamphlet. You used to know the throwaway moments, the weird dream, the lunch break disaster, the annoying co-worker. Now her stories arrive pre-scrubbed for your consumption. The phone flips face-down notifications, go dark, and the angle of the screen tilts just enough to tell you this is private property. When you ask, she says, you're paranoid, controlling, insecure. That shame grenade is strategic. If you question your instincts, she never has to question her behaviour. Remember, truth welcomes observation. Secrecy demands curtains. Your job isn't to rip them down, but to acknowledge they're closed. 3 consecutive redactions equal a smoke plume. Don't debate it, document it. Sign 3. Intimacy without presence. You share the same bed, yet it feels like you're kissing a hologram. Sometimes she turns away spine rigid, claiming exhaustion. Other nights she initiates with a sudden theatrical passion that feels more like an alibi than affection. Either way, you're left wondering which absence hurts more, the cold shoulder or the hollow embrace. Real intimacy is less about frequency than presence. When the emotional tether has been cut, sex mutate to stew, little too mechanical or suspiciously overperformed. If you mention the shift shell, say, "You're imagining things. I'm just tired," hoping you will outsource your certainty to her narrative. Don't. Your nervous system is more honest than her script rewrite. Stoic discipline asks one question: is this moment aligned with reality? If the answer is no, respect your own clarity. Fire consumes oxygen. Affairs consume connection. When the warmth is gone, check who's warming her soul elsewhere. Sign 4-4, manufactured conflict. When smoke gets thick, the first thing a guilty mind does is bang pots and pans, so you'll blame the noise, not the fire. Suddenly she's furious that you left one mug in the sink or replied "okay" instead of "sure love." The issue isn't hygiene or tone, it's distance disguised as debate. She needs you on defence so she can claim offence, rewriting the story where you are careless and she is merely reacting. Pay attention to the pattern, trivial, trigger oversized reaction, moral indictment of you. This is displacement psychology 101. By reframing her restlessness as your failure, she grants herself emotional license to keep wandering. A stoic response: observe, don't oscillate. Conflicts that materialise from thin air reveal the vacuum inside her, not a flaw inside you. Sign 5. Future edits. Cheating isn't only a crime of the present, it's a heist on tomorrow. Listen closely when she talks about what's next. The wee plans, road tripping Route 66, adopting a rescue pup, investing in that fixer-upper have quietly morphed into solo missions. I'm thinking of moving, I might take a sabbatical, I want to find myself. This isn't ambition, it's an exit rehearsal. People in love pack each other into their sentences the way astronauts pack oxygen survival level essential. When your name evaporates from her plans, she's already halfway out the door emotionally first, physically later. Don't cling to dated drafts. Read the revision. A relationship's manifesto is written in future tense. If you're erased there, you're being erased everywhere. Sign to 6 gift overcompensation. Here's a tell the self-help blogs skip the sudden generosity spree. Out of nowhere she brings you limited edition sneakers, plans a weekend at Napa, or replaces your aging phone with the latest flagship things that look like affection but feel like hush money. Behavioural economists call this moral licensing, spending good deeds to offset guilty ones. Remember the kid who cleaned his room unprompted because he broke a vase. Same principle, adult budget. The gifts achieve 3 goals. 1. Reset the narrative. See him thoughtful. How could I be unfaithful? 2. Diffuse suspicion. Your dopamine spike muffles your intuition. 3. Purchase moral credit for the lies she's banking. Notice the timing. Presents land right after unexplained absences, muted phones, or those manufactured fights. They're not celebrations, they're ceasefires. And if you dare question motives, you're labelled ungrateful. Here the Stoic rule of thumb applies. Examine the cause, not the coating. Ask yourself whether the gift deepens connection or simply distracts from disconnection. True intimacy offers presents, bribery offers packages. If affection arrives wrapped in guilt, coloured paper trace the receipt back to the fire. Sign 7. Hyper-independence. If an affair is a secret apartment, hyper-independence is the moving van parked 2 streets away. Suddenly she doesn't need help with anything. She books solo yoga retreats, pays cash, so no joint statements appear, insists on me time that swallows weekends whole. Independence per se is healthy. This is different. Healthy autonomy invites you to cheer from the sidelines. Hyper-independence builds stadium walls, so you can't see the game. Listen for that slogan tone, I can handle it. Translation and partitioning my life keep out. You'll notice 3 mechanical shifts. 1. Resource shift. She reroutes emotional support to friends or new mentors. 2. Calendar shift plans become FYIs, not invitations. 3. Vocabulary shift. We is demoted to. I mind my journey. Why it matters, distance needs rationale. By painting herself as self-sufficient, she frames your concern as control and writes a guilt-free permission slip to disappear. Remember Plato's line, no man or woman is too busy. It's a matter of priorities. When every priority relabels itself personal, smell the smoke. Stoic toolkit. 4 disciplines to read the room. Cheating thrives on fog. Stoicism is a flashlight. The philosophy gives us 4 disciplines: perception, action, will, and introspection, perfectly suited for navigating relational grey zones. 1. Perception. See clearly. Marcus Aurelius wrote, if someone can show me that what I think or do is wrong, I will gladly change. First show yourself. Strip away hope-based filters. Ask, what do I actually observe? Hyper-independence face-down phones, and revisionist futures are facts, not feelings. 2. Action respond, don't react. Epictetus warns, we are disturbed not by events but by the views we take of them. Instead of lashing out document patterns, quietly log dates, behaviours, contradictions. The goal is clarity, not courtroom drama. 3. Will hold the inner citadel. Cheating assaults your ego, not your essence. Practice negative visualization. Imagine leaving and still thriving. This inoculates you against panic bargaining. The ill accept crumbs if I can keep the table reflex. Steady willpower keeps you from negotiating your worth. 4. Introspection. Audit. Your side of the street. Stoics didn't preach victimhood. They preached ownership. Have you been present? Affectionate, honest. A clean conscience sharpens perception. If she strays, despite genuine partnership, the evidence stands taller. If you've drifted to, repair efforts precede blame. Run each suspicious moment through these disciplines like fingerprints under UV light. Patterns glow, excuses fade. Stoicism isn't a shield against betrayal, but it is Kevlar against self-delusion. Self-respect, checkpoint. The 5-question litmus before confronting her or deciding to stay, pause for a mirror check. These 5 questions act as a moral Geiger counter. Answer them privately, brutally, and write the responses down. Ink has no patience for denial. 1. Am I honouring my boundaries or negotiating them? Boundaries that flex under pressure aren't boundaries, they're suggestions. 2. Do I feel I need surveillance to feel secure? If yes, trust is already bankrupt. You can audit transactions, but you can't run a marriage on accounting. 3. Have I communicated concerns without accusation, clearly once and without sarcasm? If not, you're arming her with, you never said anything ammo. 4. Am I staying for history or for hope? Shared years are sunk costs. Only a believable future pays dividends. 5. If nothing changed from today forward, would I still choose this relationship? That question detonates denial faster than any text thread expose. Score it like golf, the lower the self. Betrayal, the healthier your stance. If you can't, answer at least 3 of these with a solid yes. In good step back. No confrontation, yet first fortify. Healthy self-respect transforms a showdown into a conversation. You're not seeking to catch her. You're seeking to choose yourself with or without her cooperation. Moral lesson. From burn to bright. Here's the truth. Every scorched heart resists being cheated on does not make you unlovable, only reallocatable. Fire doesn't just destroy, it also purifies metal, clears dead brush, and seeds wildflowers that need heat to sprout. Betrayal feels personal, but its genesis often predates you, her unmet childhood needs, her unspoken resentments, her private hunger for validation. None of that is your curriculum to complete. Your lesson is different self-stewardship. Marcus Aurelius kept a single mantra when Rome threatened to burn. The flame feeds on whatever is thrown into it. Feed yours gratitude for early warnings, not bitterness over late arrivals. Because the longer you stay in a house that's quietly smouldering, the more smoke you inhale, and the harder it becomes to remember what clean air once felt like. So reclaim your oxygen. That means building boundaries with the same craftsmanship once reserved for date nights and anniversary gifts. It means choosing transparency as a lifestyle, not an interrogation technique. And it means anchoring your worth to virtue, courage, clarity, compassion, rather than to any one person's ability to stay faithful. If she confesses and wants to rebuild, you'll meet her at eye level, not on your knees. If she denies and doubles down, you'll exit upright, not shattered. Either way, the hero moment isn't catching her. It's catching yourself before you collapse into cynicism. The goal isn't to avoid smoke ever again. That's impossible. The goal is to become someone who notices the first whiff, trusts the alarm, and walks outside into fresh air while there's still daylight left to build anew. CTA and community, breathe and declare. You've just armed yourself with 7 tells a stoic flashlight and the self-respect compass. Now I'd love to hear your clarity and action. In the comments, drop the single word breathe if you're ready to put clean air boundaries around your life, or share the smoke sign you ignored. The longest your story could be the oxygen mask for someone scrolling at 2 a.m, wondering if they're overthinking. Let's turn this corner of the internet into a fire watchtower where honesty is louder than denial and self-worth is non-negotiable. Remember, you are allowed to leave any room that makes breathing feel like begging. Exhale, type breathe, and let's keep each other in the clear.